Yes. Hello, I'm Heather Rhodes, and I've been walking with Jane this afternoon, just locally around the house, because we live close to Windermere, and we've got a few tracks up behind the house that we've been on, and it's been useful because I've been able to watch what Jane is up to, and been able to tweak a few things with her arm action so that she'll get even more benefit from her walking in general, and the posture and so on, because it's all about habit and it's what you do on a regular basis. And so if you get your muscles memory pattern to be tuned in, then in a good habit, and then things will go better and better and better for long term.
Heather, you haven't mentioned the name of the pole yet.
Oh, right.
So mention.
Yes, here we are. I've actually got my pacer poles with me as well, as you can see. So they go everywhere with me because it's just part of an extension of my body. And so it's fine.
Good. What I wanted to ask you, Heather, is we've been having quite a long conversation this afternoon about how you designed these and the reason for doing that. Tell me a little bit about, what happens to people's posture as they grow older.
Well, it's partly to do with occupation and the habits that you get into. If you're doing a lot of driving, then of course the arms are in front of you, and if you do a lot of computer work, everything is in front. And the problem with that is that the shoulder girdle, which is a circle of bone, gets into the habit of the arms, which are quite heavy. They weight it forward because you've got the upper arm ahead of the trunk, and so you can understand that once you've got that as your format, then the weighting of the upper body begins to cause a stoop, and eventually it's going to be more increased as we see elderly people, we associate poor posture with the elderly.
And they of course get back pain associated with that. They do,
all sorts,
as well.
because you have to think of the posture as you're standing upright. The muscles that are holding like that are like guy ropes, and of course if you are stooping forward and the head is quite heavy, so that's another weight, and so all the muscles at the back are trying to pull you upright, and of course they can't manage it, and so everything gets stressed and becomes very unhappy.
So tell me about how walking with pacer poles can, because it can do two things, can't it? It can prevent that happening in the first place,
right.
But it can also
change the
habits.
It has it, because what you're actually doing is retraining the muscles which control the girdle, the shoulder girdle itself, work in groups, and they have the group action of muscle, and if they're in the habit of holding the arms forward because of the activities that you're doing, then they will do that automatically, even when you're just walking around or any other action. And so you really need to think about retraining them so that when you are moving along, their automatic default mode, I suppose, is going to be that they're going to stay so that the shoulder blades actually remain at the back and not pivoting around the side of the chest wall, which happens when you're actually moving the upper arm forwards. So the muscles which are getting the action when you're using your pacer poles properly, you'll be able to see that as you push down on the pole at your side, it lifts the trunk upwards, and that action is going to reinforce the girdle muscles so that they will keep the frame in its, what I call its strong mode, and then you've got that, and then as muscle tissue of any age responds to use by increasing in strength, that's where you got it. So it's not an age thing, it's a use thing, and it's getting this retraining so that you're going to have that for long term.
And what I think is really interesting about this, Heather, is the fact that anything we do is a habitual habit, whether it's the way we think, whether it's the way we use our bodies, it trains us to do things in a certain way. And what's brilliant about pacer poles, as far as I'm concerned, is that they enable you to retrain your body to do something different, and that actually the muscles hold the memory, so that you can actually bring your upper body into a better alignment.
It's where it should be, and you can sustain this throughout life. And I think this is, once you've got it sorted, that's it. So it's something that is important for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for that.
Fine.
We'll stop that there, but I'm really delighted that we've had this chance to have a chat. Thanks very much, Heather.
Walk tall.